What if Dooku exposed Sidious just before he was destroyed at the hands of Anakin Skywalker? Now, in the novelization of Revenge of the Sith, it is explained that while Dooku was on his knees, he was thinking about exposing Palpatine as a Sith Lord. But we all know that didn't happen. He didn't get the chance. But what if he did? Now, Sidious would have denied the allegations. He would be tempted to destroy Dooku himself, but this would expose him and surely lead to a confrontation with Anakin. Sidious didn't want this. He needed Anakin as his apprentice. No. I think Palpatine would deny the allegations, but would cooperate with any investigations. Now, as they are about to escape, I think it would be Dooku that tells Anakin not to leave Obi-Wan behind, and even offers to help. But of course, Anakin would say no, and help Obi-Wan up. They would try to escape the ship, just like they did in the movie, and as they are escaping, Obi-Wan wakes up. Anakin tells Obi-Wan of Dooku's allegations. Obi-Wan would then remember that Dooku once told him similar accusations when he was captured on Geonosis. Dooku would tell Anakin and Obi-Wan that Qui-Gon once trusted him, and that he simply asked that they trust him too. Now, they would get captured by Grievous, and a fight would break out just like it did in Revenge of the Sith. But during the chaos, Palpatine would find an opening and kill Dooku by using the Force. Now, Anakin and Obi-Wan would not see this. They would be too busy fighting off the droids and Grievous. Grievous would get away, and Anakin would find a way to land the ship just like he did in Revenge of the Sith. Now, when they land, Anakin and Obi-Wan would insist on taking Palpatine to the Jedi Temple. But Palpatine would be hesitant, and he would quickly remind them that he is the Supreme Chancellor, and he doesn't take orders from the Jedi. Obi-Wan and Anakin, not trying to start a conflict with the Senate, would let Palpatine go. They would take the new revelations to the Jedi Council. Now, the Jedi Council would listen and believe them, but they needed more proof. Yoda and Windu would try to meet with Palpatine, but he would no longer take meetings with the Jedi. Palpatine would go on to create division between the Republic and the Jedi. He would tell the Senate that he fears that the Jedi are too powerful and suspects that they will try and take over. The Senate would then strip the Jedi from their commanding roles over the clones. Now, I think that the Jedi will still assist in the war effort, but they would be fighting side by side with the clones and still would be spread throughout the galaxy. Now, while this is going on, Anakin's relationship with Padme would be leaked, and it would create even further tension. Anakin would be told that Padme is a senator from Naboo just like Palpatine, and her loyalty is in question, and until further notice, he has to stay away from her. This would piss Anakin off. Then, the Separatists would launch a surprise attack on Coruscant and attempt to kidnap senators, including Padme. Anakin would plead with the Jedi to help him rescue Padme, but Mace would say no, that his judgment was too conflicted. Anakin would be disobedient, and he and Obi-Wan would take it upon themselves to try and rescue Padme. But unfortunately, they would be too late. They would find Padme killed by the droids. Anakin would be pissed off beyond belief and blame Mace Windu. He would leave Obi-Wan and rush back to the temple to confront Mace. Obi-Wan would chase after him, but then the Separatists would launch a full-on attack on the Jedi Temple. Now, the clones at this point are no longer under the command of the Jedi, but they still assist them in fighting back the droids at the Jedi Temple. Side by side, the Jedi and clones would begin to turn the tide, but that's when Palpatine would execute Order 66 and the clones would turn on the Jedi. Now, during this time, Obi-Wan gets attacked by the clones and he has to escape. He tries to contact Windu and Yoda, but he is unable to. Due to them being overwhelmed, Mace and Yoda would be forced to retreat, and they would travel to the Senate chambers to confront Palpatine. And when they arrive, Palpatine continues to deny the allegations that he is a Sith Lord. And it is during this confrontation that Anakin arrives, and he is filled with anger and rage. Mace and Yoda sense this, and as Yoda begins to ask Anakin what is wrong, Anakin lights his saber and thrusts it into Mace. Yoda too lights his saber and attacks Anakin, and the two begin to have a fight. And as Yoda is getting the upper hand and is about to destroy Anakin, Palpatine steps in and rescues Anakin with Force lightning and unleashes it on Yoda. Yoda is caught off guard as Palpatine unleashes all of his rage and power and destroys Yoda. And now that it's all over, Anakin would drop to his knees in tears. He had lost the love of his life and now has severed his connection to the Jedi. He would feel all alone, but then he would feel a gentle hand on his shoulder. He would look up and it would be Palpatine. Palpatine would tell Anakin that he's always seen him as a son. He would go on to tell him that together they could maybe find a way to bring back the love of his life. Now, at this point, Palpatine would reform the Republic into the Empire, and he would put out a bounty on all living Jedi. Obi-Wan would be on the run, and with no purpose, would be sought out by the rebel cause. He would join them and take a leadership role with the rebellion. He would seek out surviving Jedi and form a new Jedi Order. Subscribe for part 2.